Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I divorced young. My ex-husband was one of those men who wanted all the credit of fatherhood with none of the responsibility. When Adam, my only son, now 37 male, was born, I quickly realized that most of the parenting would fall on me. My ex rarely changed a diaper, never woke up in the night, and contributed little financially. By the time Adam was 10, my ex had moved 3 states away and was barely a name on a birthday card. When Adam was 19, his father passed away. It was strange. We had been estranged for years, yet his death shook Adam in ways I hadn't expected. In that grief, Adam and I became closer than ever. We weren't just mother and son. We were best friends. We leaned on each other. I worked long hours in my small bakery, and Adam would help me with deliveries or cleaning up after school. We laughed, we argued, but at the end of the day, we had each other. Back then, he used to tell me, "Mom, it's you and me against the world." And I believed him. Then he met Jessica. She was beautiful, smart, and knew exactly how to command a room. From the outside, she seemed like the perfect match. Confident where Adam was sometimes unsure. Ambitious where he was cautious. But from the very first dinner, I sensed something wasn't right about her. Her smile was polite, but it never touched her eyes. She treated me less like a person and more like an obstacle. It started with little things. If Adam complimented my cooking, Jessica would say, "Well, Adam always loved my lasagna more." If I asked Adam about work, she'd interject with, "Don't worry him about that. He has enough stress already." And slowly, I noticed Adam changing. Where he once called me every day, it became every other day, then once a week, then "I'll call you when I can." Invitations to dinner were declined because Jessica wants us to stay home. Holidays turned tense. She positioned herself as the gatekeeper to my son, and he let her. When they got engaged, I thought maybe things would get better. I offered to help with wedding plans, flowers, food, even just opinions. Jessica smiled tightly and said, "We've got it covered." On the day of the wedding, I was seated in the back rows, while her family occupied the front. My heart broke watching my son, my best friend, beam at a woman who had so carefully pushed me to the sidelines. Then came the children. When their first was born, I rushed over with knitted blankets, diapers, and meals. I wanted to help. Jessica made it clear I wasn't welcome. "We don't need outdated advice," she snapped when I suggested swaddling the baby. When I offered to babysit so she could rest, she accused me of trying to take over. Adam, once my ally, echoed her words. "Mom, you need to respect Jessica. She's the mother. You're undermining her." That was the first time I heard the words that would haunt me for years. If you can't accept Jessica, then you can't be part of our lives. I never got to rock my grandchildren to sleep. I never saw their first steps, never heard their first words. They grew up with a version of me painted as some villain, a meddling, judgmental grandmother who didn't respect their mother. And just like that, Adam was gone. The cutoff wasn't dramatic. It was slow, suffocating. Calls went unanswered, letters returned, photos of the kids hidden from me. I was erased. At first I tried. I swallowed my pride and reached out, only to be met with icy responses from Jessica or silence from Adam. Eventually, I stopped trying. I buried my grief in work. My bakery became my anchor. I poured my energy into kneading dough, perfecting recipes, smiling at customers. It was exhausting, but slowly it grew. Word of mouth spread, reviews rolled in, and lines began forming outside the door. By the time I turned 60, my little bakery had become something bigger. I opened 2 more locations. After years of scrimping, I sold those 2 shops, keeping the original, and retired with more money than I had ever dreamed of. I bought myself a house. Not just any house, but the kind of house I'd cut out of magazines when Adam was little. A beautiful 4-bedroom with a garden, a wraparound porch, and enough space for me to finally breathe. I decorated it with soft colors, cozy furniture, and filled the garden with roses. Every corner was mine, untouched by bitterness, untouched by Jessica's coldness, untouched by the echoes of slammed doors. It felt like a fresh start. And then, one ordinary afternoon, as I was kneading bread in my kitchen, there was a knock. I opened the door, and there they were, Adam. Older, thinner, lines carved into his face. Jessica, standing beside him with that same frosty confidence. And 2 children, my grandchildren, now around 11 and 9, clutching backpacks and looking up at me with wide, expectant eyes. Adam smiled awkwardly. "Hey, Mom, we need your help. We're moving in." It wasn't a question. It wasn't even a request. It was a statement, as if 12 years hadn't passed, as if I had simply been waiting here all this time with empty rooms just for them. Jessica chimed in. Her tone clipped. "Adam lost his job, and we need a place to stay until he gets back on his feet. You have all this space. It's only logical." My knees went weak. My heart pounded. All I could think was, now you remember I exist. I steadied myself and said firmly, "No, absolutely not." Jessica blinked in shock, as though she couldn't process being denied. Adam's face darkened. "What do you mean, no?" he demanded. "I mean no," I repeated. "You cut me out for 12 years. You kept me from my grandchildren. You erased me. And now you're here, not to apologize, not to mend things, but to use me because you need something." Adam's voice rose. "So you'd rather see your grandchildren homeless? You'd rather slam the door in their faces?" The children's eyes welled up, and my heart twisted. But anger surged stronger. "It's not me leaving them homeless," I said coldly. "It's you, Adam, and your jobless, gold-digging wife who has never worked a day in her life." Jessica gasped, her hand flying to her chest. "How dare you shame me for being a stay-at-home mom? Raising children is work." I snapped back. "Don't lecture me about sacrifice, Jessica. Real sacrifice is raising a child alone with no help, not sitting at home while teaching those kids that their grandmother doesn't exist." Jessica's face flushed with rage. Adam clenched his jaw, and I shut the door. The next day, Adam called. His voice shook with fury. "How could you? They were crying, Mom, standing on the porch in tears, and you slammed the door. How could you be so cruel?" My own tears burned. "I didn't make them cry, Adam. You did. You raised them without me. You told them lies about me. You created this distance. Don't you dare put this on me." He accused me of being a cruel grandmother, of always hating Jessica, of never accepting her. And I told him the truth. I accepted her until she poisoned you against me, until you let her erase me, and now you want to waltz back into my life because you need free housing? You don't get to use me like that. He hung up. Now I feel conflicted. Yes, they are just kids, and for them to see their grandmother shutting door in their face must be painful. Do I ache for my grandchildren? Yes. They are innocent in all this. They didn't choose the lies they were told. But I know I couldn't let them in just like that after everything they have done. So here I am, asking, am I the asshole shutting door in my son's and his family's faces after 12 years of silence? OP is not in the wrong here. Let's be real here. They didn't knock on OP's door out of love or reconciliation. They showed up because they wanted to use OP. 12 years of silence. 12 years of keeping OP's grandkids away from her. 12 years of letting Jessica paint OP as the villain. And suddenly the second Adam loses his job, OP is mom again? No, OP slammed the door on manipulation, not on innocent children. If Adam and Jessica wanted stability for their kids, they should have built it themselves instead of expecting OP to magically erase the past. And now let's hear community's opinion. You are absolutely not the asshole. I'm honestly furious on your behalf. Your son and his wife cut you out, denied you access to your own grandchildren. And now that you're successful, they come sniffing around like vultures. The audacity to not even ask but to announce, "We're moving in." That's not family. That's entitlement. The fact that Adam guilt-tripped you with the kids' tears proves he hasn't grown up one bit. He's still the same man letting Jessica pull his strings. You owe them nothing. Protect your peace. You've earned it. Not the asshole. How could you slam the door in your grandkids' faces? No, let's correct that. How could he stand there and let his kids cry while blaming you for his failures? That was manipulation, pure and simple. He weaponized their emotions because he thought you'd cave. And Jessica, don't even get me started. She managed to rip your son away from you, then had the gall to act entitled to your home. Stay strong. If you had let them in, they'd never leave, and your house, your sanctuary, would become a battlefield. Not the asshole. This was never about the kids. If Adam and Jessica truly cared about them, they'd swallow their pride, find jobs, and provide for them without dragging them to your doorstep like bargaining chips. What they wanted was a free ride in your beautiful home, and they assumed you'd be too guilt-ridden to say no. You've already sacrificed enough, raising Adam alone, working yourself to the bone, building a business from scratch. You don't owe them a single square inch of that house. Closing that door wasn't cruelty, it was survival.
I, 44 female, have an 18-year-old daughter. I raised her with being cheated on being the worst thing to do to a person. My daughter is usually well-behaved and agreed that infidelity was bad. My daughter has never been the type to be in a relationship until a few months back. She told me that she was in a long-distance relationship with a boy she knew for about 3 years now. I do not have a problem with her boyfriend. I've talked to him here and there. He's nice and respectful, and whenever she talks about him, it's always in a good light. In the second month, she gave him my phone number in case of emergencies. Her contact for him is love of my life. She's very open about these things to me. The problem arose when one day she received a text from a different messaging platform, which was Discord. She asked me who it was from and to read it to her since she was baking. It was from a weird name that wasn't her boyfriend's name, being affectionate with her. My stomach dropped. I opened the phone and there was affectionate text back from her side. I put down the phone and excused myself. I felt so angry with myself, and in that moment messaged her boyfriend warning him that my own daughter may be cheating on him. Shortly after, my daughter came rushing to me, angry and sobbing, saying her boyfriend had broken up with her because of something I had said. I told her what I found and what I did, and scolded her that I taught her better. She then took a deep breath and explained the name I saw was her boyfriend's username, and that he would text her via Discord if he was playing games on his computer. Here's where I may be an a-hole. My daughter begged me to clear the misunderstanding because her boyfriend had blocked her on everything. I refused, telling her that if she wasn't cheating, he wouldn't go to so much lengths and that all this could be a lie. If this was the case, why didn't she just have him under the same contact as his number? My daughter has been crying in her room, claiming that she really did love him, and now I'm wondering if I did the wrong thing by not clearing the air. I just think because this is the first relationship, she can reflect on this and better herself later. Am I the a-hole? You're probably the biggest a-hole and worst mother to exist in all history. Sorry, not sorry. You're the a-hole. You're the a-hole. You should keep your nose out of situations that don't call for you. Also, you clear the air because you made a jerk out of yourself and your daughter looks terrible now on account of your ignorance. Nobody on Discord has their actual name as their username, by the way. Why couldn't you have asked her who that was? Do you have so little trust in your daughter doing the right thing that your mind automatically went to cheating? Shame on you for breaking up a happy couple. That was her first love, and you just trounced on everything due to paranoia. You'll be lucky if this doesn't permanently affect your relationship with your daughter. Make things right. You're the a-hole. You inserted yourself into a situation and ruined her relationship, then refused to fix the mess you made. I hope this is a joke and that you're trolling because I find it hard to believe an adult woman would be this ignorant. Stop projecting your own issues onto your daughter. You absolutely did the wrong thing. If you don't know me, I'm your daughter's best friend, and I know for a fact this is you because your own daughter was completely in shambles. I know both of them for a while, and yeah, your daughter was never the type for relationships because of you. You put it in her head that the world was going to cheat her out of happiness. She would never cheat on him, and FYI, he is completely destroyed. I'm going to give you a day to fix this yourself so you can repair whatever relationship you have with your own daughter before I clear the air for them. They are the two nicest people I've ever met. Because they were only dating for a few months? Wrong. They've known each other for a little more than 3 years. This guy is completely in love with your daughter and would do anything to keep her happy. Your daughter would do the exact same thing. They've loved each other for more than months, and you completely demolished it. The fact they're both completely destroyed by one person is so cruel. You're the a-hole. Fix it. Edit. With the fast replies of telling me I'm the a-hole, I'm attempting to fix it. Thank you for your replies and snapping me into reality where I've betrayed my own daughter in the worst way possible. Backstory. I, 19, female, have a very loving father who I would give the world to. When I was 14, my parents got divorced due to my mother's infidelity. My mom, Tiff, 43, cheated on my dad, Jim, 41, with a coworker of hers, and since I was a teen, I was blatantly told the reason for their divorce. The divorce was finalized in a year, and during that time, she was living with her affair partner and playing mommy to his kids. After the divorce was finalized, though, my mom and affair partner broke up completely. Since then, my mom has dated 14 men and 2 women. My dad, however, was completely heartbroken and was scared to love someone, much less bring them into my life. When my mom was in and out of my life due to her many partners, my neighbor, Kathy, who moved during the divorce, has been my rock. She cooked and washed my clothes and took me on spa days. She never had any children, so I can tell I was like a daughter to her. This recent year, my dad has taken a liking to Kathy and have been going on dates. I wouldn't say I set them up, but I know it's because of me they've gotten close. After my mother's last girlfriend dumped her, she's been obsessed with my dad again, wondering how he's doing and asking personal questions. My dad, being a sweetie, always answers back truthfully out of respect for the fact that she's my mom. She, however, has taken this as he wants to rebuild something. One day she came over to receive mail. She still has our house listed as an address. And when my dad wasn't there, she asked where he was, and I told her he was on a date with the neighbor. She started shaking and virtually breaking down, saying, "How long will my dad punish her?" She said they were meant to be and shouldn't let a few obstacles get in the way of their love. I told her my dad does not love her that way and that she should spend every day of her life atoning for her mistakes as a wife. I told her to take her mail and leave. She left sniffling and shaking, and my dad texted me later asking what happened. She apparently called him asking how long has this fling with Kathy been taking place, and demanded answers. My mother is acting like a drama queen, not getting her mail anymore and ignoring us, as well as posting family quotes on Instagram. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your father has a right to move on, and if he finds long-term happiness with Kathy, all the better. Hopefully your mother can get her life in order and find happiness in someone else also. Not the a-hole. Obviously your mom has issues. Ignore it all. If the mail piles up too much, you can write "not at this address" and put it back in the mailbox with the flag up. Or take it to the post office. 5 years is way too long. Not the a-hole. But obviously your mother has decided that many other sides of the fence aren't necessarily greener, and now she's trying to cling back onto someone who seemingly treated her better. That's a mess of her own making, and she had absolutely no basis for trying to butt into her ex and your dad's life, nor act rationally about it. Sucks, but still not the a-hole. My half-sister Leela and I have not always been close. We have the same dad, but different moms. Leela grew up with our dad and her mom in the U.S., while I grew up in France with my mom. We saw each other during holidays only, until I moved out of my mom's when I was 21 and moved to the same country as Leela. We started hanging out again and became best friends. We were so similar and had a great time partying, having fun, and exploring the city together. Around this time, Leela, 18, met Ellie, 26. I didn't like Ellie at first. She was the typical player, womanizer, older, and I didn't want my little sister to get hurt. They went through a lot together, including some infidelity and drama. It was off and on until it was on, and then they got engaged. I was happy for her, but still wary. I was her maid of honor in the wedding, and they seemed very happy before and after, so I just accepted it. Fast forward, and now Leela is 25 and I'm 28. Leela lives with Ellie. They own 2 homes and are doing well financially. Leela tells me everything, and she's really happy with the way the relationship has matured. I live in Las Vegas, single, working in a nightclub. I was FaceTiming Leela yesterday, and she told me her and Ellie are planning on having a baby and asked me if I was ready to be an aunt. I told her that I'm already an aunt. My mother's daughter has a child, and asked her why she wants to get pregnant with all that's going on in the world. So many children in foster care, etc. She said she's not getting pregnant, Ellie is. She told me that they are considering adoption in the future, but Ellie really wants to experience being pregnant, and they want a biological child. She told me that our dad is going to donate sperm to impregnate Ellie, so that they're comfortable with the genetic medical history, and they can have a baby that's related to both Leela and Ellie. I freaked out a little and told her that was weird. Her wife would essentially be giving birth to our sister. She wouldn't be my niece. Leela was a little drunk, and I could tell her feelings were kind of hurt, and she said I was crapping on her plans to start a family with Ellie because I don't like her, I'm single and don't want kids, and I'm entitled to being selfish with my life and my money. But that's not what she wants to do. She said she wanted to share this plan with me because I'm her best friend, but obviously I couldn't be happy for her due to my perspective, and she wouldn't talk about baby stuff with me anymore. Then she hung up. I feel bad about hurting her feelings, but I just don't think it's a good idea. Am I the a-hole for not wanting my sister-in-law to have a baby with my dad? You're the a-hole. Your dad is donating sperm to an unrelated, biologically, woman so that the woman's spouse, his daughter, can experience parenthood. While it is certainly unconventional, I wonder if being judgmental about it is going to do anything except alienate you from your family. Are there other reasons that you feel this is a bad idea? I'm going with you're the a-hole. Your dad is donating genetic material to your half-sister's wife, a woman we can safely presume, yes, has no genetic connection to whatsoever. If your father married your sister's wife, in the world where your sister's wife was a straight woman, not married to your sister, and had a child with her, there would be no issue. The fact that your sister is going to raise a child that is 50% genetically your father is not the usual way it is done, but there's nothing illegal, illicit, or immoral going on here. It's not like she had other male relatives to choose from. Dad's an only child, no brothers, nephews, uncles. A few months ago, me and my soon-to-be ex-wife initiated the divorce proceedings. It was a culmination of a few years of disenfranchisement on her part, and I was basically the only one who tried to save the marriage. I also suspect infidelity, but I have no way to prove this. Regardless, we moved forward with the divorce, which was initially going to be amicable, up until we got to the division of assets. We've agreed on 50-50 custody for our twin 16-year-old girls, but that's about it. She's demanding child support payments of $4,000 a month, which makes no sense because we are literally splitting custody. She's also demanding alimony payments as well for a ridiculous 6 years, and I have zero intention of giving it to her. In fact, I was the stay-at-home dad early on in our kids' lives, and after that, started going to school. I went back to my job, and for a while we were making pretty much the same, and through a series of promotions and job hopping, I now have an incredible job where I make about 6 times what my ex-wife makes. She also wants the house. Hell no. 2 out of our 3 cars. I'm fine with 1. And a bunch of other unreasonable demands that I refuse to give in to. My twins are very smart. For various reasons, we did not hide the divorce from them, and I've let them know what's going on and how their lives might change in the near future. Since the divorce has turned ugly, me and their mother are not on good terms anymore, and since we still all live in the same house right now, things are a little bit tense and cold. I'd move out into an apartment to alleviate this, but my attorney says that the court would see this as abandonment and award the house to ex-wife. My kids say that the fight is not worth tearing our family apart, and they'd rather just get on with it. I refuse. I'm willing to concede some things, but the stuff that their mother wants is just completely one-sided and ridiculous. I guess one thing that I'm worried about is that their performance in school has started dropping lately, and I'm worried that it's because of us, or rather me, I guess. Am I the a-hole? Edit. So let's be perfectly clear here. If it were up to me, the divorce would already be over and done with. But why should I resign myself to years of financial slavery for absolutely no reason? Let me make a few points to clarify my position. 1. I propose selling the house and splitting all profit 50-50. She refused, and she wants it for herself. 2. I propose selling the 3rd car, the barely used one, and splitting profits 50-50. She refused, and also wants it for herself. I suggested having the twins share it, but she said only if I cover the insurance and expenses related to the car in full. So obviously I refused. 3. She withdrew approximately 78% of our joint savings, and I want my share back. Again, I'm okay with 50-50, but she won't entertain that. 4. We own another property in another country. I proposed that we share it or sell it and split the proceeds 50-50. She declined and offered to buy me out of my share at a ludicrous price that's not even 20% of the real value. I of course declined. 5. I do admittedly make approximately 6 times more than what she does, but it's not like she's struggling for cash. She makes in the high 100Ks, and it's in a very respectable profession, so it's not like she'd be struggling for money. Which leads me to my last point. I am okay with paying the child support, but not $4K a month. That's totally ridiculous. She doesn't need that much from me. Why does she? Our twins have jobs, and beyond covering their RESPs, then she wouldn't be struggling in our custody agreement. Thus, I have no qualms about fighting her to the death on this. As far as alimony goes, she won't be getting a single cent from me. She can easily support herself on what she makes, so why would I have to subsidize her lifestyle for 6 years? It makes no sense at all to me. None of it does. And I won't give in just for the sake of peace. I'm a human being as well. I'm not just a cash cow. I have needs and wants as well. So why should she get to make her demands, and why should I give in to it? How is that fair to me? My kids say that the fight is not worth tearing our family apart and they'd rather just get on with it. Taking advice from your kids, your ex, and anyone other than a competent and qualified lawyer who specializes in divorce is the worst thing you can do. See a lawyer, tell them everything, and take their advice. It will be painful, but asking us for advice is pretty dumb. Not the a-hole. Her demands are over the top and sound like she's trying to get her dream life at your expense. And if your kids are as smart as you say, explain to them why it's a fight worth fighting, so they can understand. Everyone sucks here. You make 6 times as much as her. Do you really want your kids to struggle or stress about money whenever they go to their mom's house? The reasons for your divorce are irrelevant. Now it needs to be about doing what is best for your kids. Stop looking at this as giving something to your ex-wife. Think about your kids. You don't have much time with them before they leave for college. Keep the peace until then. Not the a-hole. They have 50-50 custody, and OP says he's the only one who tried to save the marriage. His ex doesn't want him, but wants his money. That's trash. Bringing the kids into it when she is absolutely not trying to get the money for the children, but to fund her preferred lifestyle, is trash. If OP makes as much as he says, he's not going to let his children go without, even if they are with their mom. He just doesn't want to be court-ordered to give as much as she thinks she's worth.